Caceres down 3-2-1. Hey, Buff Nation, voice of the bus, Mark Johnson here. It's Basketball Media Day. Yeah, basketball is just around the corner. These fellas have been working hard already for a number of weeks. Felix Caceres, sophomore guard, joining us. All right, first off season, how was it for you?
It was good. It was good coming back in the summer in June, July. Good summer training, and it was good to have that Australia trip. I feel like it helped us a lot. Be able to get like practices in and stuff like that, and our team bonding as well, like off the court.
You gave flashes last year, right? I mean, you're a physically gifted guy, but it's a transition coming to this level. What did you learn about yourself and about this game last season playing at this level?
It was an adjustment for sure. Steve had us in the weight room, pushing us each and every day, and I think that's how I got a little bit stronger, being able to be playing in this physical league that we in the Big 12. So I think it was just an adjustment in that, and also I'm just getting used to the system that's here, and Tad Boyle preaches defense, and rebounding. So I focus on that a lot.
At some point when you first get here, all you think he knows how to say is rebound and defense, right? I mean, that's what it's all about. The trip to Australia you mentioned, that was a benefit for you, do you think?
Yeah, I think it was just good to play against different competition, different set of rules. You're playing in FIBA, so just being able to adjust in different environments, I think helps. Yeah.
You mentioned Steve. You look a little bit thicker. Did you put some weight on?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
We had a good this summer as well. Staying at gym, Steve will get us right.
At this level, in this league especially, you've got to be physical, don't you? You've got to be strong with the basketball, both on the dribble and when you're passing, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, no, a lot of calls get missed, so you got to be strong with it. You can't play for the whistle; you got to play through it. So,
sophomore year now that you've been here for a year, you put more pressure on yourself, more responsibility. You want?
I wouldn't say put really more pressure. I just go out there and play. I just play my hardest. I think that's the main thing. Just give maximum effort and everything I got all up on the court, and give everything to my team. So
maybe expectation's a better word. Do you think?
Yeah, I'll say, I know last season we didn't really do what we wanted to do. So, a lot of expectations to win this year. I feel like with this group, and we got a good chance to do it.
All right, not all the guys were with you in Australia. Now that you've practiced for a couple of weeks here, you got the whole group here. Tell me what you're seeing from this team.
Just the new guys, or just like
the whole overall, what this team looks like. Very different team than it was a year ago. So what are you seeing right now?
Just more connected. I think we taking care of the ball more, move it well. We were able to get to the paint. We got good guards, get to the paint at ease. So I think that we just need to keep working on defensively and being connected on that end. And I think we'll be able to get stops and win games like that.
How about Bangkok? He's coming back from the injury. How's he looking?
He's been looking great. Honestly, we still a bit managing him a little bit. Making sure he's good, but he's been playing a lot. He's been seeing going up and down, so it's been really good being back on the court with him.
Well, it won't be long, and the Buffs will be back in action. Expect a lot out of this guy. Good luck this season.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
All right, that's number 15, Felix Caceres, here on Basketball Media Day at the Event Center. Back at Basketball Media Day here at the CU Event Center, voice of the bus, Mark Johnson. You're going to get to know this guy here, number 2, Isaiah Johnson. No relation, by the way, but we both got the same game, that's for sure. Hey, your first real experience. Now, you had the summer trip, of course, going to Australia. You and I talked at an event here a few weeks ago, but now that you've been on the practice court here for a couple of weeks, how are things going?
Things are going pretty well. I mean, we're definitely getting better each day. I just come out here to learn because I don't really know much as a freshman, but come out here to learn and just give them all.
Yeah. You might not know much, but you expect a lot of yourself, don't you?
Yes, definitely. I put a lot of pressure on myself, a lot of expectations just because how hard I work.
For folks that haven't seen you, what's Isaiah Johnson's game?
I've been to do a bit of everything. Definitely offensively, I'm able to get downhill, get my teammates shots. Defensively, I can get after it on the ball and, just be gritty.
Yeah, you mentioned defense. I chuckle all the time with all the guys as many years as Tad's been around here. Defense, rebounding, defense, rebounding. That's all you hear, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all we hear every day at practice, just defense, defense, defense.
What makes a good defensive player, do you think?
Somebody that communicates, definitely. Coach Boyle talks about it all the time. Communication's big, active hands, being able to deflect balls, get your hands on balls, and, just helping out your teammates because it's a team defense at the end of the day. It's not just one-on-one, so being able to help your teammates is good.
I had a coach years ago tell me he thought defense was about humility. When he said that, I thought, I don't understand. He said, because you have to be willing to give yourself up for the team. Is there truth in that?
Yes, definitely truth. Like I was saying, if your teammate gets beat, you got to be able to help your teammate. Even if you get beat, if your teammate helps you, help him out again. So, definitely humility.
Hey, for Bus fans here, give us your background, where you came from. Tell us about your family.
I'm from Los Angeles, California. My mom, my dad, they're from Texas, and my little sister's from California as well. Yes.
Well, where the basketball playing come from, mom or dad?
Both. Both parents play college basketball, so I got a bit of both worlds.
Why Buffalo? When did that happen?
Coach Boyle, the whole coaching staff, they were my only high major offer, so I really felt like they believed in me, and I wanted to take that chance here.
All right. Now, Boulder's a little different than Los Angeles. How do you like Boulder so far?
I love it, man. It's beautiful every day. Whether it rains, it's sunny, it's second to none. And being able to go outside and see the mountains is really special.
How about the chemistry around this team? Is this a pretty good group to hang out with?
Great group. We're always together, always laughing, joking off the court, so this group's definitely special.
Who are you living with?
I live with Leonardo, Josiah, and Ian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty good group?
Yeah, great group.
Who's the house cleaner? Who's the messy person?
I say the cleanest is Leo. Leo, and messiest, I got to go Ian. Okay. Ian's the messiest.
Boy, that season's going to be here before you know it.
Yes, sir. I'm excited.
All right. You're going to like this guy here, Isaiah Johnson. Buffaloes getting ready for their season coming up in just a few weeks. And we'll continue our coverage now from Basketball Media Day here at the Event Center. Back on Basketball Media Day here at the Event Center. We're talking with one of the big fellas. But then again, I did need to tell you that. Voice of the bus, Mark Johnson. Leonardo Van Elswyk. Say it in Italian.
Leonardo Van Elswyk.
That's outstanding. Tell us about how you got here.
I was recruited out of Italy. I guess the coaches saw me when we won the Italian championship 2 years in a row. So I just got contacted, came here on my visit. I loved it, so I just decided to come here.
So is this the first time? You can't be the first time you've been in the States.
No, I grew up in Canada also, apart from Italy. So I did a couple AAU tournaments in America too. So it's not my first time in America, but it's the first time I've lived in America, obviously.
All right, tell us about your family, Italy. Your father was a professional player, do I understand that right?
So my dad was a professional basketball player. He played in the EuroLeague as well. He played for Stanford, South Carolina, here in Division I. And he was on the Canadian national team with Steve Nash. And my mom was a volleyball player. So my dad's Canadian-Dutch, and my mom is Italian. But I was born in England because my dad was playing there at the time, so that's where I was born. So I have 4 nationalities, I guess. Yeah.
So I know you
from everywhere.
Right. You obviously speak Italian. Obviously speak English. You speak anything else?
Yeah. So I played in Spain also for 3 years. So I speak Spanish and Catalan, and I was in French immersion growing up in Canada. So I can't speak French anymore, but if you put me in a French environment again, I'll start to speak it again. But I kind of lost it a bit.
Yeah, that is outstanding. Do you ever mess around with your teammates a little bit with that?
Sometimes. I try to teach some of them some Italian words, but yeah, not a whole lot.
Tell us about your game. What kind of player are you?
I think of myself like a stretch big, so I'm a really good shooting big. I like to shoot the 3, have some nice post moves. I like to think the game. I'm very IQ oriented on the court, but that's kind of me.
Is there going to be a learning curve playing at this level? I know you've played international a little bit, but is there a learning curve playing at this level?
For sure. Obviously it's different from the international ball. It's a bit faster, a bit more physical. So just adapting myself to that physicality. Obviously working with Steve in the weight room, trying to get stronger. So just that.
Is there someone on this team that you kind of look up to from a, figuratively speaking, obviously, from a learning standpoint?
Obviously I look at Elijah Malone. He's a 6th year, so he knows the game. He's been doing this for a long time, and he plays my position. So everything I can learn from him, that's just great for me to have someone like that.
You've been all over the world. Where's the coolest place you've ever been, do you think?
I mean, I liked everywhere. I can't lie. I learned something from everywhere, so there's not one place that I liked, but I don't know. Everything was different, so I liked all of them for different reasons.
How about Boulder so far? What do you think of Boulder?
I love Boulder. Just waking up, getting to see the mountains in the morning, it gets you ready for practice for sure. Yeah.
Love it. Leonardo Van Elswick, you say it.
Leonardo Van Elswick.
It sounds better when he says it, doesn't it? Big man for the Buffaloes as we continue our Media Day coverage here at the Event Center. Back in our continuing coverage of Media Day for men's basketball here at the University of Colorado CU Event Center. I'm voice of the bus, Mark Johnson. Freshman Ian Inman joining us for a few minutes here. All right, Ian, tell us a little about yourself. You're a Houston kid, right?
Yes, sir. From Houston, born and raised.
All right, tell us about your family back there.
I got a brother, mom, dad, all lived in Houston. My mom and dad grew up in Beaumont, Texas, and they moved to Houston, and we're all from Houston. Yeah.
Everybody basketball players, or where does this talent come from?
Nah, I'm the only basketball player in the family. My mom was in the band, dad played football, he was in the band too, and little brother played football.
Why Colorado? How'd you end up here?
Came here, coaching staff, everybody says coaching staff, but there's really love here, and then all the people surrounding us, making us better, yeah.
What do you think of Boulder?
Love it. Super nice here. Super. Weather's great. No humidity is great.
You went from, first time I ever went to Houston, Texas, I called my wife, I said I landed on the surface of the sun. It was August in Texas. A little different here in Boulder.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right now it's like 60, and then in Houston it's like 92 with humidity, so it's crazy.
And very humid. Tell us about your game a little bit. What are we going to expect from you?
Just being able to knock down the tray ball for sure, affect games and winning, making passes, playing defense, getting rebounds, stuff like that, doing the little things.
You like this group, this team? I mean, is it a good group to hang around with?
Yes, sir, for sure. Everybody's good. We got a lot of freshmen who are young, but we're hungry, so that's always good.
Yeah. The trip over the summer to Australia, was that valuable? Did you gain a lot from that?
For sure. We got to play against some of the best people in the whole world, and especially the Boomers game and stuff like that. It's games you dream about, and especially in Australia, in a different country, you try to go bust their butt in their continent. But, yeah, it was good. It was very fun for our team. We needed it.
Did you have any Vegemite when you were down?
No, but I have relatives from Australia that came to my house a couple years ago, and I had some, and I don't like it.
How much help was Nate Tomlinson having him on the trip with you guys?
It was super nice. Being from there, he taught us the ropes, taught us around, and especially in the basketball games, he knows their game and stuff like that, so it was good for sure. It was helpful.
I always like asking freshmen, who do you live with?
I live with Josiah.
Oh, you do? Okay. Colorado kid, right? How's that? You good roommate?
For sure. He's a good roommate. I always stay in Isaiah and Leo's room, too. We're sort of connected, so we're all always together.
Looking forward to it. Can't wait till the season starts. It'll be here before we know it. Good luck.
Sure. Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, freshman Ian Inman for the Colorado Buffaloes men's basketball team. We continue our coverage here from Media Day at the Event Center. And we're back in our continuing coverage here at the Event Center. Basketball Media Day for the men's team and practicing for a couple of weeks. This guy here, we don't need to tell anybody who that is. Sebastian Ronchik, veteran guy. Man, you're kind of an old man now.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is when you have 8 freshmen or so on the team, but yeah.
Even though you're still a young player, you played a lot of basketball. Did you take responsibility on yourself knowing that, okay, this team's going to count on me this season?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, that's what me and Coach talked about in our meetings leading up to the season, and once the last season ended, that's the situation I want to be in, so I'm really excited for that.
What did you do during this offseason, knowing that Tad was going to put more weight on you? He wanted you to have more responsibility, wants you taking shots, wants you leading this team. What did you work on? What did you focus on this offseason?
I mean, I focused on especially being able to make a lot of shots off the dribble and just becoming a more consistent and efficient scorer. working on my shot, and then also I worked also on my mental side. I was talking to a lot of like successful leaders and like people I know about what it is to be a leader, how to achieve it, so I can do my best in leading this team and helping us win the games.
You know, when talented players come into this league and they haven't played at it, the Big 12 is the best college basketball league in America. You kind of learn, don't you? You've got to be, number one, you got to be mentally strong.
Yeah.
You've got to, you know, with the ball, you got to pass it with authority. You got to put it on the ground. You got to be strong with everything. Was that one of the great lessons you learned last year?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's just basketball. If you want to play at a high level, that's what you have to expect, and that is what it's expected. So, I mean, I wouldn't say it was necessarily a shock because you know what you're kind of going into. I mean, I grew up around like high level basketball my whole life, so but it definitely took a little bit of adjustment, the speed and especially the physicality. Yeah.
The young fellas on this team, who's catching your eye?
I mean, definitely Isaiah. I think he's really smart. I love his basketball IQ and the way he can get. He can manipulate the defense really well. He's a really good driver, good shooter, can pass the ball. So he's one. And then, I mean, all of them are doing such a great job. I mean, Ian can shoot it. Taco with his effort and rebounding. Jalen, the way he's been playing really well the last week or two, just being aggressive and assertive. And, yeah, Josiah just being strong and knowing his reads and knowing his role. I mean, all of them are playing a great role.
We just talked to Leo here just a couple minutes ago. He's a big cat, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. He's huge. Yeah. Makes me feel small.
Hey, speaking of big, Eli looks like he has put some weight on as well. He looks very thick. Elijah?
Yeah, I mean, he put some strength. Yeah. Last year was not strength. It was definitely strong, but this year it's pure muscle. So it's great to see him moving good on the floor, and yeah, so I'm excited to play with him this year.
All right, how about your guy Bang Dak? How's he coming back from the injury?
Good. I mean, obviously, when you have an injury, it takes a little bit to get back. So I think he's working through it. But I think he's doing such a great job, even when he was injured, of trying to help lead this team off the sidelines. And he's a hard worker. I know he'll be back to himself really soon.
Lastly here, you can compare it to last year's team. Every team's a little bit different, right? A lot of new guys in this squad. You like the makeup, the chemistry of what you're seeing so far?
Oh, I love it. We're so close off the floor too, and yeah, our chemistry on the floor is, I would say, way stronger than last year's, and more determined group, a more competitive group, and we all have the same goal, and we want to strive to be great.
All right, so he'll be here before we know it. Good luck this season.
Yep, thank you very much.
All right, Sebastian Ronchik, he'll be one of the leaders for the Buffaloes this year as we continue with Media Day coverage here at the Event Center. Back here in Basketball Media Day at the Event Center, voice of the bus, Mark Johnson, Barrington Hardress, one of the great names I've ever heard. You got a great handle, man. A good name is a great calling card for everybody.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Where does Barrington come from?
My mom wanted to. I think my mom actually just wanted to go with Barrington because my dad's name is Barry, and we didn't really want to go into any juniors. He was like, "We'll just add a little twist at the end."
When Tad told me they was recruiting him, he goes, "I'm recruiting a point guard named Barrington Hardress." I said, "Man, that sounds like a character in a movie, right? Like you're a spy or something." That's great stuff. Tell us about your game. First off, where you came from. Tell us about your family.
I'm from Inglewood, California. I have one older sister, and then it's just my mom and my dad. We've really sports has been a part of my life since I was a kid. My dad's had me trying football, baseball, basketball. I stuck with basketball, but yeah, he didn't want to let me go to football actually, so I couldn't go. But yeah, I've just been playing basketball since I was 3 years old, just trying to really master my craft, and now I feel like I'm really at a place to where Colorado shows all that work I've put in throughout the time.
You transfer. Why transfer? Why Colorado?
I transferred just because I felt like it was time for me to test myself against the biggest level that there is, and I feel like the Big 12 has that. And then why Colorado? I mean, the culture here. I know so many guards. Know so many guards that come here and do the right thing and play the right way. Whether it's Derek White, You have Spencer Dinwiddie, KJ Simpson, a good friend of mine. So just understanding that this program produces guards that play the right way, that's really what I wanted to be.
Before you made the decision, you obviously talked to KJ?
Oh, yeah. Talked to KJ Simpson, Jabari Walker. Just understanding, like, that this program, it builds pros. It builds players that know how to win a game, really. And that's really just what I want to be.
The one thing that when Tad and I talked to me, first told me about you, he said, Mark, you're going to love this kid. He said he is tough. You bring toughness to the court?
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. That's just how I was raised. Inglewood. There's no room for you not to be tough. You have to give what you got to kill what you eat what you kill, actually. But that's just where I'm from. That's just the mentality that I've always had with my team.
This group so far. You've been with them for a number of weeks now. What do you think about the chemistry, how they come together, that kind of thing?
I think we're a really deep team that actually cares for each other. Usually when you have a deep team, everybody wants to just they're concerned about when they're getting their shot. And with this team, I mean, there's so much depth as far as with the ages that they look up to. They look up to people. They look up and they understand that we're players that have gotten this done, and that we're in this position to win, and we want to win. So just everybody doing what it takes to win is what we have in our locker room right now.
Another thing I'm thinking about, as I'm standing here, you've been a guy that's played a lot of basketball. So you come in, there's going to be an expectation of leadership. But you're a new guy coming into a new group of guys. How do you kind of walk that fine line?
Just the trust, understanding that we're here to win. We're here to win, and that I've played a lot of college basketball games compared to some of these younger guys. So just coming in here and trying to give my knowledge as far as to what I've seen, what teams have done, how it's going to feel in game, because it's going to be different. It's different than when the coaches can stop a play right after. Is that, like, we're going to be high paced. There's going to be different decisions that we're going to have to make in the heat of the moment, and just having them ready for that, and having them ready for their shoulders to carry that load. So I think that's really just been where I've tried to show my leadership.
Well, one thing Tad told me about this guy, he said this can be one of those players that I am very confident when the ball's in his hands. So look forward to seeing number 24 in the court when the Buffs get the season underway. Barrington Hargreaves, as we continue our coverage here of Media Day at CU Event Center. We continue here at the Event Center Men's Basketball Media Day. Voice of the Bus, Mark Johnson, Andrew Crawford joining us here for a couple of minutes. All right, since last year, what did you learn? What did you work on over the summer? What was your offseason like?
I learned a lot from last year. The redshirt year definitely helped me in my transition to college basketball, especially coming from Colorado high school public basketball, which isn't on the level of Big 12 basketball, not nearly. But during the summer, I really focused on my body, really focused on gaining weight. Even though that was my goal for my redshirt year, I learned that I can't gain weight without eating calories. So this summer has been pounding calories, pounding bread, pounding all the hard calos. So that was a big transition I made this summer. Another thing was my jumper. I smoothed it out. I made it a little quicker and a little higher, so that it's not blockable now, and it's getting off quicker than the defender can get there now. But other than that, those are the two big ones. Other than that, keeping my handle tight, working on my athleticism, and then playing ones was another big thing that I did this summer to improve my one-on-one defense, which I think vitally helped in the first couple of weeks of practice.
It's funny you talk about the body, the physical aspect of it. I think for every player over the many years that I've been doing this, everyone gets here, they think they understand physicality. They think they understand taking care of themselves, and then they learn, right? And it's like that cartoon you see where, you got the little devil or angel on your shoulder. That's Steve for you guys, isn't he? He's barking at you guys all the time, isn't he?
Yep, no doubt. But it prepares us and it pushes us for Big 12 basketball. There's nothing like it in the country. You're getting bumped and bruised every possession, whether it's offense or defense. So that's something that he definitely prepares us for, and we're ready for it this year.
This group so far, I know it's still early, but you spent a summer with them on the Australian trip and all that. You like the group in terms of the makeup and the chemistry and how this group's coming together?
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. We have a lot of young kids, young men on this team, but they're ready to learn and they're soaking up a lot of information. But I think this is the most talented team I've ever been a part of. We have shot makers, we have shot blockers, we have athletic people in BD and Jalen, and I just think this is a very well-rounded group of guys that if we come together, we're going to make some problems in the Big 12 and in the country for sure.
Well, I know Tad's been barking about offense and defense rather than rebounding. You seeing that coming along?
Yep, no doubt. And I kind of want to spearhead that. I want to be the guy that can go in there and get a stop on the best offensive guy and go get the rebound over the biggest guy. And I'm kind of taking pride in that this year, but that's something that he preaches every day, and he's trying to get everybody to do.
You're only a second-year guy after your redshirt season, but yet you're talking about trying to do things from a leadership standpoint. Did you think about that? Did you and Tad talk about that during the offseason?
It wasn't talked about a lot, but I know that since I am a second-year guy and since I do know what is expected of us, that I can fill in that role. I think my voice carries, and I'm always talking. So these guys are bound to listen sometime. But I've definitely embraced that leadership role, and I plan to continue to do that throughout the year.
Now that you get through that red shirt, I'm looking forward to seeing you on the court. Good luck this season. All right, Andrew Crawford, he and the Buffaloes. Right now, we're getting ready for the season. We just about have him step in front of us here on the camera. That's all right. He's only a redshirt freshman. But we'll continue after a quick break here and bring you more coverage from Basketball Media Day. Back on our Media Day coverage here for the Event Center. Colorado men's basketball team getting ready for the 25-26 campaign. Voice of the bus, Mark Johnson. Associate head coach, Mike Rohn. All right, give us the hard evaluation now. Through the Australian trip, couple of weeks of practice. What are you seeing so far?
A lot of really good things. We're growing as a team. We saw some competitive spirit in Australia, and so we were excited about that. And now we're in the dog days of practice and practice. The good thing, the guys are starting to get excited because exhibitions are coming, and so the growth is with a lot of new guys. There's a lot of that going on, and we just have to understand as coaches that it's a little bit of a process sometimes.
With you, Tad, the veterans who are coming back, last season was not acceptable by the standards of this program. Is this a hungry group right now?
Yeah, it's hungry. Yeah, and so is the staff. Staff is very hungry as well. But yeah, the new guys. Anytime you get new guys, they get a little energy in there, and so I'm excited about that. We just get a few of the guys healthy, and we'll be much better.
Look forward to it. Much more athletic, I think. Yeah. Ben got Deck. How's he coming along from that injury he's returning from?
I think physically he's coming on a little better. The mental part of it. His conditioning's not as good. Anytime you don't play for 3 months, at all, it can be a difficult thing on your cardio. But he's getting a little better there and getting used to the physicality. And the guys are actually starting to hit him a little bit more. So he's probably right where he should be. He's what we kind of say right now, he's still a little rusty, especially on defense. But I expect him to be hitting his groove about mid-November. Hopefully.
I think as a staff, with BD coming back from the injury, with what Sebi did his first year, you want to hang some responsibility on those two guys, don't you?
Yeah, we need to, right? Those are the guys, Felix, Elijah. Anytime, you got to rely on your veterans because they've been there and done that. And they're the ones that, they lived the same thing we did last year. They were right in the middle of it with us. And, kudos to that team. They kept battling and they kept fighting. And so those guys learned a lot about perseverance from that, and so we need those guys to not only be some of our better players, but be our best leaders.
this young group, you got a bunch of pups out there, right? You said they bring energy. They bring some talent. There's some impressive young guys out there. Tell us a little bit about that group.
Well, like you mentioned earlier, just the athleticism of that group stands out when you watch practice. Their ability to play faster and quicker, and I think we're going to be a faster team this year. So that's the thing that jumps off the page with those young guys is, they can play the game a lot faster, and the athleticism helps us on offense and defense. And that's, coach is on them obviously by defense because that's what we do. But when you have some athleticism, it helps you be a better defender. So we're encouraged about that group. There's going to be several of them out of that young group that are going to have to contribute.
Another new guy I want to ask you about, he's not a young guy, but Barrington Hargrace comes in from Fullerton, right? When Tad first told me about him, he said, Mark, this is a tough kid we're bringing in here to play point.
Yeah, he's tough. I mean, he was the ninth leading scorer in the country. He won't be the ninth leading scorer in the country this year because, we got better people around him and he won't have to shoot as much. But I've been really impressed with his ability to handle the ball. Like, his assist turnover ratio right now is like 7 to 1 in practice. So he's really making plays for other guys. Need to get him a little more vocal and understanding our system so he can lead a little more. He can be a really good leader, but he's still new, so he's trying to figure out what we want him to do so he can relay messages and calls. But he's growing there, and we need him. We're going to need him because he's been in big games, in big moments, and you don't have to run as many plays with a guy like Barrington. He can make some things happen.
I believe that. Last question here. Sebastian Ronchik was such an impressive first-year guy a year ago. Has he taken a step? Is he lifting his game to where he really becomes a special player?
Yes. Yes. Even more so maybe than we thought right now. That was the expectation that we wanted from him. But he's been shooting the ball well. He's been scoring the ball really well. He's ahead of the time a little bit from maybe what we were expecting. And we saw some of that in Australia. Just scoring the ball. And so we're excited about where he's at. We just got to get him back healthy, and we'll see how many more days it is, but hopefully he'll be ready for the season.
Coach had a birthday a couple of days ago. Team do anything for you?
No, I told him not to. I told him, hey, keep that on the down low. Keep that on. A lot of text messages, hugs and stuff after, but we'll celebrate their birthdays. But it's better to have one than not.
It's good when you want to keep it on the down low and somebody mentions it on an interview. That's always a good deal. Mike Rohn, Associate Head Coach for the Buffaloes, who are continuing coverage of Media Day here at the Event Center.
Thank you.
Back at our continuing coverage of Media Day here at the Event Center, John Manning joining us, a new player for the Colorado Buffaloes, transfer from down in the city from DU. All right, how's the last couple of weeks of practice? You guys getting the season underway? How things going?
It's been great. Just being with the guys every single day, competing, getting to scrimmage each other, learning from the coaches, being in and out of the office for film and stuff like that. It's been great.
A lot of times we talk to transfer guys, they come from across the country. That was an easy, 30 minutes down the road for you to not too bad.
A little 30-minute drive, so I'm back there a little bit whenever I get the chance.
Yeah. Well, you got options out there, so why come to Colorado?
I worked out, and the workout went really well, and then I met the staff, and that just felt like a no-brainer for me. All the experience the staff has, and the players are pretty cool on my visit, so I just thought it was going to be the right fit.
All right, for Buff fans, John Manning brings what to this team? What's your game?
Competing. That's my game. I'm going to compete. I'm going to try to get the loose balls, offensive rebounds, do the little stuff a lot of players don't want to do. Yeah.
And play defense because you have to here.
You have to. If you don't play defense, you might as well just quit.
You might have to buy a ticket if you're not playing defense in this team. This group, a lot of new guys on this team, so that's always a period of adjustment. How's the chemistry in this group? How do you like hanging around with this group of guys?
I think it's been great, actually. I think we got all the young guys, so they got that fire in them. Always want to, they don't really know what to expect, so they're just showing up every day trying to be their best. And then we got the older guys like Elijah Malone. He's been great, just teaching us the ins and outs of the ropes and stuff like that. And then BD's been here for a couple years, and Barrington's been here, or not here, but he's been in a Division I basketball setting. So just being around those guys and just listening.
I'm kind of shocked you said that Elijah's been telling you things. When he gets with us in the meeting, he doesn't say a word. He never talks. Does he actually talk to you guys in practice?
Yes. Me and Elijah are pretty cool, so he talks. He's he might be quieter on the outside, but
on the inside, it's pretty cool.
Last time we had him on an interview, he was giving me one-word answers, and I said, "Are you going to say anything besides one word?" He said, "No." That was his response there. But hey, tell us about your background, kind of your family life, and where you grew up.
So I grew up in Los Angeles. I'm actually a triplet with 2 sisters. They both live in New York. Then I have an older brother who plays Division I basketball at Fresno State, and a younger brother. So I got a pretty big family. Yeah.
All right. Of the triplets, who's the toughest?
Well, they're 2 girls, so I'm the toughest. But I'd say Sophia's pretty tough. Her name's Sophia, so she's pretty, feisty.
All right. Are they identical twins, or you're all?
All different. Yeah, we all look different.
How about that? That's really interesting. So do you kind of have that triplet or twins ESP they talk about?
I think so. Yeah. I think so. It's kind of weird, I feel it a little bit. I'm a little bit closer sometimes with some of them than my other siblings. Hopefully they don't see that, but yeah.
Well, he's got that closeness. He's working on closeness with this basketball team, too, as that season's just around the corner. John Manny for the Buffs as we continue our coverage of Media Day here at the Event Center.
welcome to everybody to our Winter Sports Media Day. Here we've got Colorado men's basketball head coach Tad Boyle, starting his 16th year at Colorado, 20th overall as a Division I coach. Coach, he'd like to start with an opening statement on how fall practice is going so far, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to be here. Hard to believe it's year 16. Makes me feel old. But other than that, I feel great. I mean, I'm as excited today as I was, my first year here at Colorado, back in 2010, I think it was. So anyway, I like this team. I like the talent level we have. We've got great length. We've got great explosiveness. We can shoot the ball. I think we can be a good defensive team. We're certainly not there yet, but a lot of different weapons. I like the depth. And it's going to be a work in progress, though. I know on November 3rd, when we tip it off against Montana State, we will not be in mid-season form, but we'll be hopefully a heck of a lot better than we are today. And I think we're better today than we were a week ago. And I'm just so thankful to all of our donors, our administration, for allowing us to go on the foreign trip to Australia this summer, because without that, I'd hate to think about where we would be with the youth and the inexperience that we have. And but it's being around young people, and those youthful guys bring a lot of energy every day, which gives me energy, and we got to feed off each other. So it's going to be a fun year. Going to be a fun team to watch grow and develop before your eyes, before my eyes, before their eyes, and there'll be some ups, there'll be some downs, but I look forward to having a great season.
Before we start, we do have a wireless mic. As people ask questions, they can use it. Unfortunately, we only have one, so you're going to please be patient with us. We'll get it to you before your question. Mark, go ahead and start.
Tad, some of your better teams, you've had guys like McKinley and KJ and Spencer handling the basketball. You brought a guy in named Barrington Hargress, who's played a lot of basketball. Yeah. And the first time you and I talked about him, you said, this is a tough guy we're bringing in here. Yeah. What does he bring in? Does he kind of fit in a similar mold to some of those guys? Yeah. I hate to put too much pressure on a kid to compare him to guys like McKinley and KJ, who obviously, look, for 7 years, I was probably one of the most spoiled coaches in college basketball with those two guys kind of running the show for us. But Barrington brings some experience. He's got the ability to score the ball. He's got toughness. He's got grit. He can play both sides of the ball, so he's not just an offensive player. He's not just a scorer. He can distribute. He came here because he really, at Riverside, he had to score the ball. He averaged 20 points a game for those guys on a good team. But Barrington really wants to become the consummate point guard, which means scoring the ball and distributing the ball and finding that balance. And that's something we've really worked with him on. Really challenged him to become a better three-point shooter this offseason. I think he's improved there. But I would just remind everybody that he's not the only one. I think, we've had 2 inter-squad scrimmages. I see Isaiah Johnson, as a freshman guard that I feel really, really comfortable when the ball's in his hands as well. He and Barrington will be able to play some together this year. I see Josiah Sanders, who's got great ball skills as well, who's physically, ready to go this year. So I think that point guard position, that lead guard, however you want to term it, is going to be in really good shape this year. And I hope those guys can live up to, the standard that McKinley and KJ both set. And I think in time they will.
Hey, Coach Lee Rivera with Scobo Sports. Talking to Elijah, he said one of the things you challenged him this offseason was his leadership. How have you seen him kind of grow into this role so far? Much
more comfortable. Elijah, I hear his voice now. I think he's more confident. I think a year ago he was kind of not walking on eggshells, but he was just a little, unsure maybe of, oh boy, I've been at NAIA level and now I'm at the Division I level. He was still trying to figure things out, new system, new style, new terminology. Now Elijah's much more confident. It's just amazing the difference a year can make in a player's, just their demeanor and confidence level. So really like his mental state. And yeah, we're going to need leadership this year. And I look at guys like Elijah, who's our only senior, guys like Barrington, who's new to the program, but third-year Division I basketball, Bangat Dak, third-year Division I basketball. I think Sebastian Ranchik is a kid who we've really challenged to help lead this team as well. So we can come from different areas. It's not just going to be on Elijah, but leadership's going to be a big, big thing that we're going to expect from him this year.
Hey, Tad, Kyle Newman from the Denver Post. Nice to see you. So you mentioned BD, Elijah, Sebi. I mean, those three key returners.
Yeah.
How much of this team's success is going to hinge on them, and how do you see their roles kind of playing out together?
Look, I think any team that you coach in college athletics, I don't care if it's basketball, you name the sport, football, baseball, volleyball, I think you always look at your team based upon who's coming back. For that continuity, for that standard that you want to have set for the younger players that when they come in. Now, I know those three guys can't do it by themselves. They're going to need some guards. They're going to need some wings that are going to come in and step up and help them. But I look at a guy like BD, who was part of that 26-win team 2 years ago at that 1-2 NCAA tournament games. He knows what that looks like. He knows what good leadership is. He also was part of a team last year that finished dead last in the Big 12. So he knows what that looks like. And so he's the one guy in the program really that has a feel for that. And so I'm expecting him to say, okay, do we want to be like the 26-win team, or do we want to be like the 14-win team that finished dead last? I know how he feels. I know how I feel. Now it's incumbent upon us, not just me, not just him, but the whole coaching staff, to make sure our whole team understands what that looks like. And that's going to take teamwork. It's going to take sacrifice. It's going to take fighting and scratching and clawing, and it's going to take coming up on the winning side of close games. And the one thing about last year's team, we were in a lot of games, but we came up on the losing side of a lot of those close 1, 2, 3 possession games. This year we got to find a way to get on the other side of it, and it starts in practice, and that's what we're working on right now.
Hey, Tad. Oliver Hayes, 24/7 Sports. After the black and gold scrimmage, you talked about the shifting the shot clock to start after the ball goes through the net instead of inbounding it. I was wondering, as a coaching staff, when you guys decide to start doing that during practice, but also what clued you guys in to pick up the pace of play with this roster?
Well, as you analyze college basketball now, and look, we're playing at altitude. We know that's an advantage. But it's only an advantage if we play with pace. And you look at a college basketball game now, there's 9 media timeouts. There's 4 in the first half, 5 in the second. You got a 15-minute halftime. Each team gets 3 timeouts. I mean, that's 9 plus halftime is 10 plus 6 more. That's 16 timeouts. Then you talk about the media reviews, at the end of games. I mean, there's 18 to 20 stoppages in play in a college basketball game now, which to me is ridiculous, but that's where we are, and I'm not going to do anything to change that. So what can we do to force the pace? The only way I know how to do that is to get the ball out after makes, after they score the ball, get it out, and let's run it up their throat. Now, we don't have to shoot it fast, but let's put some pressure on the defense. Let's get this possession game up, and the way you do that's by playing with some pace on offense, and it's also getting second and third possessions, which is another emphasis that we've put on this year's team, which is offensive rebounding. So offensive rebounding can get you extra possessions, and playing fast after makes and misses can put pressure on the defense and hopefully get you easy baskets.
Hey, Tad, Pat Rooney, Boulder Daily Camera. Excuse me. This year your wings are bigger and more depth there, and same with your front court, more size and more depth. Are you confident that you're going to be able to compete better physically this year in the Big 12?
Absolutely, absolutely. That was a major concern, with last year's team, is the physicality of this league, the way the game is officiated, and that's where depth comes in, Pat. You have to have depth for a couple of reasons. Number one is to withstand injuries, but the second one is to withstand foul trouble. On nights where that whistle is blowing, but we got some depth, and now we got to make sure we have quality depth. We know we have some inexperience, but That's why this summer was so important, because our guys really learned a lot about themselves and what it takes to be a part of a physical basketball game. That's why going to Australia was so important, and playing against really good competition and getting, playing against grown men that are going to bump you and hold you and try to punk you, because that's what the Big 12 is going to do.
Hey Tad, Jack Harlow, Buffalo's on SI. Just what are some of the challenges and opportunities that come with having such a young roster with a lot of underclassmen and only one senior?
Well, the challenges are developing habits and getting these guys to understand that in college basketball now, it's different than AAU ball or high school ball, where if you make a mistake at that level, you may or may not pay for it. You make a mistake and you close out with your hand down, guys are going to make threes at this level. You get beat back door, you might have been able to recover and block a shot. Here it's going to be a dunk, and you're not going to be able to recover. So it's making them understand, look, you're going to make mistakes, but your habits have to minimize those mistakes. And then we got to help each other out defensively when those mistakes happen. And that's why, I tell them all the time, like, young guys, you can have a really, really bad offensive possession, and one guy can make a great shot, and it kind of bails everybody out, and, everybody feels good about it because the shot went in. You can have a great defensive possession, and one guy makes a mistake, and it costs you a bucket. And so on defense, you have to have 5 guys connected. Ideally, you want 5 guys connected on offense as well, but offense can be bailed out by really good players. And I think we've got some guys that are good players on the offensive end, so I'm not too worried about that side of it. But, in our last inter-squad game on Saturday, we shot 52% from the field. We shot 42% from 3. Only turned the ball over 19 times between 2 teams. Did some pretty good things on offense. Now, is that because our offense is really good? Is that because our defense is atrocious? I think it's a combination of both right now.
Hi, Coach. Matt Spivak from Scobuff Sports. I just wanted you to talk about Ian Inman and what role he could play for this team.
Ian's a knockdown shooter. He's a guy that we knew could shoot the ball when we recruited him out of Texas. Wonderful young man, really coachable, gives you everything he's got every day. I think he's a guy that's really learning on the defensive end. But he's a guy, again, I look at this weekend, he missed a tough 3 in the corner. He came down, the next possession was wide open. He didn't even hesitate. He was a step or 2 behind the 3, let it fly, and it went in. So he's a guy who we want to get shots for, and his teammates have to understand, what he can do for us, and I think they're learning that. And he just, like all the freshmen, he's got to become more consistent, and he's got to understand the way he's going to find his way on the floor is to make sure we can all trust him defensively, but his offensive game and his ability to shoot the ball is at the Big 12 level, I think.
Hey, Tad, I want to ask you about 2 guys. First, Bangot. His unique skill set can really energize that arena. We saw it in several games last year. What's your challenge to him this year? I'm assuming it's something about consistency, but I'll let you answer.
Consistency, staying in a stance. Bangot, he's 6'11", he's thin, but man, is he long, and he is explosive. I mean, he can go above the square and catch a lob and dunk it. He can go above the square and block a shot. Like, his length and his explosiveness, like, vertically is as good as I've ever coached. But it's using that 6'11" wingspan on defense and being in a stance rather than playing straight up and down. And it's a challenge he has. It's a challenge Elijah has. It's a challenge Sebi has. He's not the only one on our team that has that challenge. But for him, it's become really consistently a presence defensively, because he has the ability, I think, to guard smaller guards using his length, and to guard bigger guys because of his length and his ability to jump and block shots. So, he's an important part of this team. And on the offensive end, Bangot, he can stretch the floor on the perimeter. He can score on the block. He can obviously catch a lob and run in transition. So his skill set is unique, and it's one that I think consistency on both ends of the floor is what we need from him. And again, minimizing the mental mistakes and letting his God-given talent, make plays.
What about Isaiah? We all know his background, spending time with some really great NBA players because his dad was a trainer. Do you see that manifest itself in him? Does that give him something you haven't
Yes.
seen in other players?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we saw it in Australia, Eric. I mean, the way he drew, I think, 16 fouls in 4 games in Australia. Sebastian, I think, drew 17. Those two guys really put pressure on the defense. And Isaiah's got the ability to score the ball. He's a great shooter when he gets his feet set. He can really play in the pick and roll. But to me, what makes him who he is his fearlessness. And he's not I said this, I think we had a booster function a couple weeks ago. I said, don't let his baby face fool you. He's got toughness, and he's not afraid of anybody. And that comes from, I think, playing with and against, NBA players growing up, being in those workouts and being around his dad. So, no, Isaiah is a guy that you never know what you're going to get with a freshman until they get here. You think you know, but you really don't know. And they really don't know what they're getting into until they get here. And but I'm glad we got him, because that kid's got toughness, he's got moxie, he's got fearlessness, and he's still got a ways to go, though. There's still, look, all these freshmen are freshmen, but I wish there was a fast forward button, that we could hit that would make them be like juniors or seniors. But life doesn't work like that. They're going to grow and they're going to learn, but he's a smart kid, and I'm so glad we got him, because our fans are going to love watching him play and grow physically and socially and just emotionally. He's gonna have a great career at Colorado.
Morning, Tad. Sean Keeler at the Denver Post. You mentioned Australia and the gains that you get from that time and getting a head start. As transient as everything is now in this world, how much does that help? And does it have to speed up this time of year or the prep time to this? Because you talk about hitting the ground running. That's harder to do with new guys in a roster that everyone's facing this. That's so different all the time. And do you have to speed up the acclimation process for you to get guys who are new up and ready to go?
Absolutely, Sean, I think. And that's why that trip was so important to us. And it doesn't matter who you are. If you got a bunch of freshmen or you got a bunch of transfers, like, they're still new. You got to get them used to your system and your terminology and what you expect. And for us, it was critical. Now, you can only go on those once every 4 years. And, you mentioned the transient nature of college, athletics, and it's certainly there. There's no doubt about it. We're trying to fight that with the University of Colorado basketball program as best we can. And next year will be a great litmus test for us to see how well we can fight it. I'm not here to talk about next year now, but the young players that are in this program that are up and coming, we got to make sure they continue to be buffs. That's part of my job. It's part of our job as a university. It's part of our and I'm not saying the media's job. It's not your job to, but look, our fan base, it's part of their job to show up and make this a home court advantage where these kids want to come back and play for these fans because they know they're supported, and I think we can do that. I really do. I think we talk in the recruiting process about, the development process and how you have to, respect it. You have to understand it's not going to happen maybe in 1 month or even 1 year. It's going to be a 2, sometimes 3-year process, and they bought into that. Now, can we make sure they continue to buy into that, even when there are going to be bumps in the road, but. I'll be able to answer that a year from now a hell of a lot better than I can now. But that Australia trip for this team this year was critical, without a doubt. And we're going to try to fight that trend in college athletics as best we can. We're not going to maybe retain 100%, but we need to retain the guys we need to retain. And I feel like we did that off of last year's roster. When I look at Bangat, Sebastian, Felix, we got a lot more this year to retain.
Tad, yeah, one of those guys you did retain was Sebastian Ronchik, who last year flashed, and was one of your focuses during the offseason. I was just talking with Mike Rohn out there in the gym, and I said, how much has he jumped? And he said he might have jumped more than we expected him to jump. Have you seen that kind of growth from him? And how much more do you put the responsibility, the mantle on him this season?
Yeah, I've seen it, Mark, in practice. I've seen it in workouts. Now the key is we got to see it in games, right? Like that's the bottom line. But Sebi's got a lot more confidence. You know, we talked about it with Elijah. He's got it. Bangot's got it. Felix has got it. All those returning guys, they're going to be different players this year, and we need them to step up and have a larger role maybe than they did last year for Sebi and Felix's case as freshmen. But Sebastian, his ability to seek, absorb, and finish with contact, I think, has gotten better. Again, I mentioned he drew 17 fouls in Australia. His ability to shoot the ball from three, his ability to put the ball on the floor and attack and handle it, continue to be a better playmaker. You know, basketball is a pretty simple game. If there's two guys guarding you, you got to find the open man. And there'll be two guys guarding him some this year because he's going to be one of our weapons. And that's what I love about this team is I think we can have, you know, 5 on the floor that you have to guard all 5 of them. So if they key on one, it's going to free somebody else up. And if we just play the game the way it's supposed to be played, everybody will, you know, this can be a team that can have 3, 4, 5 guys average double figures. I really believe that. I don't know if that'll happen. It's hard to have 5 of them, but you can have certainly 3 or 4 for sure. I think this is a team that can be like that, and I would expect Sebi to be one of those guys because he can really put pressure on the defense. He's 6'10". He's a matchup nightmare. Smaller guy he can post, bigger guy he can take out on the perimeter and drive by or shoot over. So he's got a great skill set offensively. To keep fighting him on being a great team defender. He's a really good one-on-one defender. Again, he uses his size and his length. He's gotten stronger in the weight room. So Sebi's going to have a breakout year, I think.
Tad, Kyle from the Denver Post again. You mentioned player retention, you know, bucking the trend of college athletics. With the House settlement, Rick George has said, you know, those funds are going to be distributed based off revenue of each program. Obviously, football is going to get a lot, but that's good news for men's basketball, right? Like, how's the House settlement going to impact this program, and has it already?
Yeah, I mean, look, the revenue going from, you know, collective based revenue system to now revenue where the money's coming from the school certainly has helped us. The key question to that, Kyle, is what are people going to do over the cap? And we know what they did this year. They front-end loaded a lot of these contracts with collective money. They did it in football. They did it in basketball. And then is that going to continue? You know, is this NIL Go thing going to be successful? Is there going to be teeth behind people who don't follow the rules? Like, there's so many unknowns to that question. I wish I could tell you. Has it helped us? Yeah, in the short run it has. Is it the solution as we move forward? I don't think we know that answer yet. But as we go, I'll let you know what I think. But I think in the short run it's good. But we have right now we have a soft cap that people are going over, and until we get a hard cap somehow, some way that gives some competitive equity to the system, you're going to continue to see imbalances and shifts every single year. And maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. I mean, that's not for me to decide. I just know from a competitive equity standpoint, it can be a challenge based on where you are.
Tyler King with the Denver Gazette back here. In talking with a bunch of the freshmen over the summer, it seems like they're all eager to want to build something here. And obviously you're already talking about trying to keep this group together because you know what they could become over the next couple of years. Do you feel like in recruiting them, you recruited the right mindset of these guys, that they want to be guys that want to be Colorado Buffaloes for their entire careers? I
hope so, Tyler. I mean, that was the discussions we had in the recruiting process with them and their families. The one thing I do know about this world, it can change, and it can change pretty quickly, sometimes with a phone call. So, but yeah, I think we got the right kids that come from the right families, the right values. Again, we try as best we can on the front end to get that right, so that then the retention becomes a little easier. The only way you can do that is you have to be honest. You can't lie to kids and families. If you do, you're going to lose them. So you just be honest and you stick with them and you fight for them and with them and you help them. every single day. And that's why, I tell our coaching staff, our strength staff, everybody that works, in the athletic department, we come to work for one reason. That's to serve our players, serve our student athletes, help them as best we can help them. And I do believe if they feel like you're doing that and they've got some character and they're being fairly compensated, they're going to stick with you. I think they will. But again, time will tell.
Hi, Tad. Trinity Ortega with Scope of Sports. In regard to Bengot Dak, I was just wondering, are you balancing in pushing him, but also making sure he stays healthy in the long term?
Yeah, it's a balance right now. He missed, the entire off season with his knee surgery and then his rehab. So, he's been back. Today's practice, he made it through about probably 70% of it, and then we took him out. He twisted his ankle a little bit in the scrimmage the other day. But that knee, it's going to swell some. So, yeah, we're finding, I think listening to him, listening to the knee, he's got to do that. He's got to make sure he's communicating with our training staff and our strength and conditioning staff, Coach Engelhart and Tessa and all the people that are here to help him. So it is a balancing act right now. There's no doubt about it. I want him out there. The thing about basketball, you can't, you're either in or you're out. There's no halfway. So we may be limiting reps, but when he's out there, he's got to be able to play, and because the only way he's going to get used to Big 12 basketball is getting out there and letting it all hang out. He just may not be able to do it for as long of a stretch as some of the other players because his off season was compromised.
We've got time for a couple more. Go ahead, Ron.
We've heard a lot about this team's increased physicality today, but you're bringing in 2 7+ footers in Taco and Leonardo. Just how big is that for you guys to going forward in the Big 12 to have those young guys that are?
Yes, especially 2 young guys. That's the key, is young guys who are going to grow and develop. The thing about Taco and Leo is if you look at those 2 players, they've got totally different skill sets, totally different strengths and weaknesses. So, Taco is a hard-playing, rim-protecting, aggressive, strong, athletic beast, and he's gonna be able to help us just with his energy level. And now foul trouble will be an issue for him early. That's part of it. That's true for a lot of young big guys. Okay. Now Leo, on the other hand, is 7'1". He can really stretch the defense. He's got unbelievable hands, great skill around the basket. He can shoot the 3 as a 7'1" guy. So he's a really good passer. He's very, very intelligent, high basketball IQ. So both those guys, again, are going to progress, hopefully, through this program and get better each and every day, each and every week, each and every month, each and every season, but can really complement each other. And eventually, hopefully, we can play them together. I don't think we'll be able to play them together this year very much until they both continue to grow and develop some of the other parts of their games that they need to work on. But both going to be good players, great buffs, and again, the sky's the limit for both of them in different ways.
This offseason, when talking about cutting down the turnovers, it was a lot of focus on Barrington's assist-to-turnover ratio, and Isaiah Johnson seemed to follow suit. But outside of that, when looking at last year, there was a lot of travels, illegal screens, stepping on the sideline, things like that. So outside of those 2, how has the rest of the team been able to help cut down on the turnovers when it was Australia and during the scrimmage on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, it's again, the stepping out of bounds, that's a mental thing. We got to eliminate the mental turnovers. Footwork is just a lack of habits and lack of attention to detail. We work on footwork and establishing a pivot foot every single day, in our shooting drills and the things that we work on. So we have to eliminate those. The illegal screens, they're sometimes the result of our perimeter players not slowing down, not setting their man up. We had one in the inter squad. Illegal screen on Taco, it wasn't his fault. It was a perimeter player trying to move too fast, and it's hard to screen legally a moving target. So we've got to make sure we take care of those because those are controllable turnovers. the ones that sometimes aren't controllable are, guys being able to pass and catch and make decisions. And that's where you better have the ball in your best decision maker's hands. It's like free throw shooting. One of the reasons we've been a really good free throw shooting, generally speaking here, is the right guys have gotten fouled. You get the wrong guys fouled, guess what? Your free throw percentage isn't going to be very good. Turnovers are a little bit the same way. Like, the ball needs to be in the hands of the guys that are good decision makers and are able to make plays, not in the hands of guys who can't. And that's okay. If you can't make a play, that's okay. Just get the ball moved and let somebody else who can, and then you space the floor and be a great cutter, great screener, great teammate, and you can help our team. So I think, turnovers was a major part of last year's lack of success.
Do you consciously try to move past last season when talking to your team, or is it something you can use as like a source of motivation?
Well, one thing is that freshmen have no idea what you're talking about. So usually that message is for the returning guys. Like last year, okay, you were here last year, you want to go through it again. So I'm going to try to talk about it less and less and less as the year goes on. But there are times you bring it up. And it's part of me, unfortunately. I told our returning guys, hey, we were all 14 and 21 last year. That we got to live with that. And guess what? That's in the history books. That ain't going to change. We don't get to say, hey, okay, Troy, can we white out 2024, 25, pretend that never happened? It doesn't work like that, right? So it's part of it. Now, what kind of history do we want to create with this year's team? And that's our challenge, and that's what we've got to focus every single day on. And I do believe that we have enough talent on this team that we can have a fantastic year, and we can win a lot of games, and make Buff Nation proud of their basketball program. Unlike last year where they didn't have a lot of things to beat their chest about. That's on us. So let's go get that done. And that's a great challenge. And those of us who have been here before and have done that, that's a challenge I'm willing to accept and go after. And then we just got to get our players to buy into that. And we will, and we have. And it's going to be a fun year and a fun team to follow.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Okay.
We'll have Ski here in a second.
Guys, we'll continue with our winter sports meet today with our ski coaches. So we have Jana Weinberger, I believe it's your 23rd year here-ish. This is her third as the overall head coach. Ian Lochhead, alpine coach in his third season as well, beginning. We'll let Jana open up with a couple words, and then Ian, and then we'll open up the questions.
Thank you for having us here. Is that good?
There's no reinforcement.
Thank you for having us. We're happy to be here, Ian, and we are very excited for the season to start. We've been in full swing with our dry land so far. Athletes showed up in great shape in August. This is kind of our expectation for them to show up in shape so we can start building on it. We started out with Buff Classic bike ride with a full team, alpine and nordic. We did our usual Green Mountain Grand Prix, which
start skiing in Copper October 24th if they're able to make snow. The guns have been on, so we're hopeful to start skiing soon. On the alpine side, we have a lot of new athletes. 4 out of 6 on the men's side are new, and 3 out of 7 on the ladies' side. One of the 7 is unfortunately our big star, Magda Luchek, who blew out her knee at NCAA finals last year, so she'll miss this season. She's rehabbing, but we have a really good group coming in. One of our freshmen, Stanley Buzek, is doing like a hybrid in between the U.S. ski team and us, and he'll make his first World Cup debut in Levi, Finland on November 16th. So excited for that.
Yeah, Leo Barrow, Sports Coach, kind of build off upon that freshman. How do you go about getting these people up to speed in order to understand what the expectations are for your team? And then for you, it's just you don't have any freshmen on that Nordic team, so how do you go about judging that leadership?
It's definitely been interesting. It's felt like a whole new group and kind of starting fresh. When I first came here, we still had athletes who were recruited by Richie Rokos, who was the coach here for 30 years. So there was a lot of the traditions and the leadership that have been in this program forever, which was great for me as well. Now we don't have anybody from, I guess, the old era. Our returners have done a really good job of being leaders and kind of showing everybody the ropes. I think the recruiting class that we have coming in is super experienced. They've all raced internationally and raced at a super high level already. I think for them the big difference is coming in and really being part of a team environment, which is so unique in college skiing. And yeah, like most of them, they really enjoy it and thrive in it. And yeah, I mean that's their favorite thing about being here is being part of a team and being part of CU.
On Nordic side, we don't have any true freshmen on the team, but we have 2 new girls who are transfer students. And seems like they have blended in well with the team and are excited to be here. As far as men's team, we do have 3 new athletes. Yes, 3. And same, like the older ones, the 2 seniors on the team now, they kind of took them under the wing and showed them the ropes, and everybody has bought into the mission of us winning the championship. That's our goal. We were holding up the trophy, taking all the trophies to skee ball on Friday, and a lot of them were like, well, let's get a new one in March.
Pat Rooney, Boulder Daily Camera, really for both of you, just curious, this new era of college athletics with NIL and revenue sharing. We talk a lot about what it means for football and basketball, but just curious, you recruit internationally, obviously heavily, just wondering what these kind of recent changes in college athletics has meant to your program.
I'll let Ian take that because he's an expert on NIL.
Yeah, obviously it's much different. Our kids aren't showing up to Dow Ward Ferraris. There are some, skiing's obviously a niche sport. There are some who compete at a super high level that have some partnerships there. It's kind of outside of what we do. For us, I mean, we're trying to build depth in our team, so our big thing is just having the available scholarships to provide support for all the athletes and kind of the level that we're at. We don't currently do much with NIL deals or anything. We're definitely keen to do it, and for us it's not so much about getting kids paid, it's just getting everybody support to be able to be here and take advantage of what it is. I think so we'll see. It's a strange time for non-revenue sports and Olympic sports, but I talked about it at skee ball the other night. One thing I will say, and I commend Rick and CU, they have not made compromises in the way that they support any of the student athletes, and they're definitely providing the tools and the resources that our athletes next step in their individual career as well.
Oliver Hayes, 24/7 Sports. Looking at the men's Nordic team, I know Hugo and Luca are seniors, but looking at Storm at 6'4", joining, being another tall guy, how does that, benefit or even make it harder for the men's Nordic team when, having that height?
Too tall. I mean, yeah, they could definitely be basketball players too, but it Nordic skiing is one of those lucky sports where it doesn't matter if you're tall or short or the body kind of composition. It's you have pluses and minuses. You're a taller, big guy, you go downhill faster, and that's a plus. But I think it just we happen to have a taller team this year, but it can change next year.
Yeah, I mean, Philip's expectation is to win every race that he kicks out of the start gate, and that's what he always says. He looks really, really good. He's in the best shape physically that I've seen him. He's really stepped up in terms of being a leader on the team. It's his last year. Yeah, I don't think he enjoyed much losing last year, so he seems super motivated. And yeah, I'm excited. I think he is going to have another great season for us. We'll be sad to lose him for sure.
Yes, for Nordic side, we're gonna have our home meet in Steamboat, February 13, 14. The regular Nordic distances, 7.5 kilometer and 20K.
Yeah, for us, we're kind of hosting together with University of Denver. So we will host both of the GS races for those meets at Eldora on January 12th and 13th, and then the slalom portion of both of those races will be in Loveland on the 14th and 15th of January.
First, it's very hard to follow a national. This was our ski coaches that just left, right? National championship. But no, I mean, it is basketball season coming very quickly. For us basketball coaches, we always start to feel the pressure as we see people saying 30 days out from your first game. The rest of us start sweating like we need more practice time, which, it always feels like we need more practice time. But in all honesty, we're really, really excited about our team this year. For the second year in a row, we have 10 new players, which in some ways is a huge challenge and difficult to navigate and things like that. But in other ways, it's a huge blessing. Like, we are really, really loving our team so far this year. We have, as I said, 10 new players, 3 returners. We have 5 freshmen and 5 transfers. I'd be more than happy to talk about all of them. Maybe when you guys have questions, we'll take some. But We've been here basically since the end of June. So most of our players were here for the summer, doing summer school, taking a couple classes. A lot of offensive and defensive work happening between, July, August, and September. And now that we're officially into real practice mode, we've had some great practices. We're excited about our schedule. We feel like we were able to put together a really challenging schedule with a lot of postseason teams from last year, and of course the Big 12 is going to be better than ever. So we're excited to get going. I think we have our first sort of close scrimmage this weekend, and then next weekend we'll close scrimmage, and then we have an exhibition game. So it's all coming very, very quickly, but we're also very, very excited for the upcoming season.
JR, Ashley Moore, welcome back.
Thank you.
You mentioned 2 new players this year, same as last year. Jade was one of those new players last year. Now she's the veteran on the team. What has been the conversation like with her and preparing her for a season where there's so many new faces, and now she's one of the ones to kind of help train them a little bit?
Yeah, that's such a great point. And I will say, even from the end of last season, Jade Masagayo has taken a tremendous amount of ownership of who are we going to be moving forward. She was a phenomenal recruiter this past spring, like really, really invested in the players that we were recruiting, the type of people that she and we wanted to bring into our program, gave up a lot of her time, to help us recruit out of the portal this spring. And I think because of that, she really wants to have a great senior year, as any senior would, right? And knows that she's a great player and is going to be a key contributor, but she also wanted to play with great talent and great teammates, and so she invested a lot. Jade has been really, really good with our young players, kind of taken, it's sort of Jade, and now JoJo is back from Nigeria. We can talk more about her. But for most of this summer and preseason, it was Jade Masagayo plus 3 freshman post players. And so she has really taken them under her wing as far as just how to kind of go about your business, how to train, certain things that our coaches are going to want from them on the court, off the court, things like that. So Jade's been phenomenal in that way ever since season ended last year.
Coach Harrison Semyon, Buffs NSI. You mentioned the 10 newcomers, and a lot of times people talk about how the offense is special. Pick up on. It's only been a couple weeks, but who are you noticing that have kind of stood out in picking up on the routines and the intricacies of the offense?
Actually, a lot of them. We have, I could go down the list and talk about sort of who's doing what, but a couple that are really standing out, a few. Let me just pick 3. Who we just call AD. We just call her AD from now on because it's difficult for our American mouths to say it properly. Is a really, really high IQ basketball player. She has played multiple positions. We met a couple days ago, and she said, the first little bit I was just kind of lost, as far as trying to understand everything. But she said, I think I got it now, and she's a biomedical engineer, so she's super smart, and she's one that, honestly, I could put her at any single position. If we had to play tomorrow, I could play her 1 through 5, and she would know where to be and what to do, things like that. 2 freshmen that have really, really picked up the offense and are doing really well within the offense. Jade Crook, a post player from Australia, very high IQ, came from a very, very established high-level basketball in Australia, where she understands system, the reads that she's making, things like that. Actually, I need to say 3 freshmen. Logan Greer is doing really well within our offense. Her coach actually, last year at her high school, put in a little bit of what we do in an effort to have her be even more prepared for college, which is such a beautiful thing because she's doing really well with that. And then our freshman point guard, Anna Gooden, also just high IQ, good understanding. She missed most of the summer. She had a repaired labrum in April in her shoulder, but on the sideline, she was locked in, mentally, so she's really understanding what we're doing too.
JR, Kyle Newman from the Denver Post. Nice to see you.
You too.
So you mentioned Jade and her help in recruiting. Can you tell us specifically, how is she helping you rebuild this roster, for a second straight year? What did she do?
Yeah, the biggest thing is she, when we bring recruits in the spring, a lot of times they're a little bit shorter visits. I think you're allowed to have about 48 hours. But in the spring recruiting, it's typically about 24 to 36 hours, so they're pretty quick visits. You know, and we didn't have a lot of returners. It was at the time Tabitha, Jade, Kennedy, and JoJo. You know, it was the four of them, and so all of them, you know, were pretty invested in helping us recruit good talent and good players. But Jade just spent a lot of time with them. You know, she was intentional about being able to, you know, maybe be a part of every campus tour that we did, so that she could just spend one-on-one time with them. Really trying to help understand, you know, who they are. Are they competitive? Do they love basketball? Are they going to be a great teammate? Those types of things. So really, it was just her giving her time, you know, to invest in spending with them.
Hey, JR. Pat Rooney, Boulder Daily Camera. You know, last few years you've been pretty well set at point guard, first with Jalen, and Kendall was kind of ready just to step right in last year.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if that's Kennedy this year or if it's a freshman Gooden, but how are you feeling about where you're at the top of the attack like that?
Yeah, I feel really good about our point guard play. You know, we have three really good point guards. All three of them are capable of playing and leading, and they're all good enough and versatile enough in their skill set that they also can slide to other positions, which is wonderful, because there's not enough minutes to go around for three talented kids like that at only one position. You know, Kennedy, I would say, had an incredible summer. You know, I thought she was one of our best contributors down the stretch of last season. You know, there were a couple games in the Big 12 tournament where she absolutely saved our butt. You know, I can't remember which, maybe it was like the end of the Houston game or the end of the Arizona game. One of those games, you know, I think she had 8 points in the fourth quarter and, you know, was just playing really, really well. So she carried that through summer and has done really well. Also really stepped up in her leadership of the team as one of only a couple veterans throughout the summer. Kennedy's done a great job of coaching the young ones, holding everyone to a high level of accountability in what we're doing. You know, I always say Kennedy's never going to be the loudest kid in the gym, which is totally fine, but she's really bought into how important her voice is. And so that's been incredible to watch her leading and coaching and talking and, you know, doing those types of things. But all three of our point guards, I think, are very capable. All three will play and contribute in meaningful ways.
Hey, Coach Lou Rivera, Scoba Sports. I just wanted to ask you, coming into your 10th year, is there anything you've changed about your coaching process or something you've learned these last few years?
Oh, man, I always feel like I'm learning for sure. I think the changing landscape of college athletics has forced us to change a lot. One thing you know, with the portal and NIL and, you know, just all of those things, it's forcing a lot of changes. One thing I'm actually really proud of our staff is that we remain very, very much the same people we've always been. You know, our foundation is built on relationship, culture, you know, toughness, persevering, like all of those sort of foundational pieces when we got here 10 years ago are the exact same thing that we're doing today in practice, you know, and so that's something that I love about our staff is that we still prioritize the right things, even in the changing landscape. But yeah, I mean, lots of big differences. I mean, just having 10 new players 2 years in a row, you know, the practice on October, what is it today, the 13th, is not exactly the same as it was 2 years ago on October 13th, when we had, I don't know, 14 of our 15 players were returners. And so those are the types of things that really challenge us and stretch us, you know, to really be present each day. Like, I can't just say, well, let's just do what we did last year on this day. It's like, where are we? What are we doing well? What do we need to improve? How are we going to improve it? And our staff is really like, every day we're asking those questions, and I think that's helping us grow.
Hey, Coach, all the way back in the peanut gallery. Xavier Menevis, Scoba Sports. So you talked about your backcourt depth a little bit, and Kennedy Sanders and Anna Gooden, but you also have two all-conference defense players in Desiree and Ziana. What went into recruiting them, and why are they fits for your team?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely wanted to bolster our backcourt with some athleticism and some defensive prowess. Like, I don't know that I could say we went into the portal season saying we must sign 3 all-conference defensive players. We knew we needed athleticism and wanted some players that could create off the bounce, could play different positions on the floor. And the fact that AD, Zai, and Dez are all conference defensive players. Just turned out to be sort of a blessing, that we didn't necessarily know we needed. But with that being said, I think we have a chance to be really good defensively. Some of the best teams we've had here at Colorado with the Jalens and the Kindles and the Netties and the Maya Hollingsheds and, some of those players, we were really pretty stingy defensively. And we're working really hard to make sure that we can get back to that mindset. And those players are definitely helping.
JR, just wondering, we've mentioned a couple times going into season 10 now for you.
Yeah.
That's a long time in your profession to be at any one place anymore. I mean, is there any special meaning for you? Obviously you've accomplished a lot here, but any special meaning for you in your career to have been at one place this long?
Maybe not just one place, but the fact that I've been at the University of Colorado for 10 years is very special to us. It's actually twice as long as I've ever been anywhere as a coach. So I was at Gonzaga as an assistant for 5 years, and then my first head coaching job at Southern Utah for 5 years. So this is officially, I'm doubling up. And really couldn't be happier, with what we've been able to accomplish from sort of where we started and, how we've progressed, and some of the accomplishments that our program has had in the past 10 years. We're very proud to have been here this long. We feel like this is a special group we have here and feel like it's going to be a special season for year 10.
JR, one thing about your program at 10 years is you've always, I think, as I've watched you guys, you've built culture, you built chemistry, you talked about the relationships within that team. Traditionally, that ship turns kind of slow, right, as each class comes in and they learn. Now, the last 2 years, now you've had 10 new players, as you talked about. What did you learn last year about having 2/3 of a brand new roster and building and helping them understand that culture? How do you speed that process up so they get it by the time November rolls around?
Sure, so that's such a great question. I think for us, this past spring, more than any spring we've had, we were very, very intentional about the types of players and young women that we were recruiting to the program. So, we had a little bit more leeway or runway as far as what we knew we needed. So I think the year before, we had some players that had thought they would stay and then at the last minute didn't stay. And so we ended up in a position where it was like, okay, we need this, we need that. And it was a little bit rushed. This past spring, we had a little bit more time and thoughtfulness go into not just the basketball part. I always say the basketball part's really easy. Like, we need a shooter, find a kid that can shoot. You need an athlete, find a kid that can be an athlete. But there were specific questions and things that we were looking for out of the portal this spring that were not necessarily basketball related. So there were, it was really important to us that we recruited players that love the game of basketball. It seems silly. You think everybody that's playing at this level must love to hoop, and it's not always the case. So finding people that love practice, very competitive spirit, people that when we ask them, well, what's most important to you in your next step, where you're going to college, a lot of them having a great locker room was really important to them. And so we knew that our values would line up with their values, and I think that allowed us to, one, bring the right people in initially, and then we spent a lot of time this summer team building, some stuff we organized, some stuff our players organized, and really worked on those relationships, because when it is 10 new people, you got to learn each other as quickly as you can, the basketball just being a small part of that. And so our team did a great job of gaining that trust and relationship throughout the summer.
Coach, I wanted to ask a little bit more about Jade Crook and coming in from Australia. You had success last year in an Australian big and Tabitha. Crook more conventional maybe, but with the depth a little bit unproven in the front court, what role do you kind of envision for her?
Yeah, Jade will play Jade Crook. We call her JC. So if you hear me call her JC, since Jade was already taken by Masagayo. But JC is going to play a very big role for us. She's got great size, great IQ, very versatile skill set, can play inside and out, very coachable. I mean, I really could go on and on. She's going to be a really great buff for us.
Hey, JR, Tyler King with the Denver Gazette. Nice to see you. Just two quick ones for you. You mentioned JoJo, just kind of obviously getting her back this year. I know she's dealt with a lot of injuries throughout her career. Just kind of where is she at going into this season? And if she is, back to being 100%, how impactful can she be for you guys this season?
Yeah, so JoJo went home this summer to see her family. She hadn't seen her family in many, many years, and ended up getting stuck back home. She couldn't get back into the country, and so it took a fair amount of work on everybody's behalf, to get her visa and all that stuff taken care of, which she did. But she just arrived back in Boulder about 10 days ago. And so she missed our entire summer of training and most of the fall training and things like that. On the flip side, the blessing is that she looks fantastic. Like, being home was really, really good for JoJo. She looks really strong. She's feeling good. I think she's very recovered from her knee injury from sort of the year before that she was working on. So we're being really smart and strategic about how we get JoJo back to full speed. After being gone for many months, it wouldn't be very smart to just throw her in. So she's gradually progressing. I think this week will be sort of the first time that she's really going to go full speed. But if she can feel good and play well, she definitely is going to contribute.
And then more of a big picture question for you. Obviously, by the time the Pac-12 kind of ended, you guys were one of the premier programs in that. Now here in the Big 12, it feels like there's a decent gap between the investment between some of the programs in women's basketball and some of the other programs. Where do you guys feel like you guys are at that point, and how do you get to being one of the programs that consistently at the top like you were in the Pac-12 here in the Big 12 now?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know sort of what everybody else has or what anybody else is doing. I definitely feel like we can do what we need to do to get back to the top. I mean, there's nobody in the world that wants us to be successful more than myself and our staff and Rick George and our players and, sort of the people that lead our program. And so I think a lot of the things that we need to do to get back to competing for the very top spot are the same things we did when we first got here, and we were building our program. It's culture, it's cohesiveness, it's understanding our identity and leaning into that and things like that. So definitely there is an outside piece to it, but it's also a lot on us to make sure that ourselves and our players are really bought into that.
Hey, JR, Oliver Hayes, 24/7 Sports. You talked about recruiting players who love the game, and I feel like sometimes, like you mentioned, that can be surprising. I feel like that may be because some people think they love the game and they may not necessarily love it as much as they think they do. So I was wondering if you kind of clarify, how you know when someone is married to the game rather than just, dating it, I guess.
Yeah, rather than dating. I love that. Well, a lot of it is not just by their word of mouth. We speak to their previous coaches, we speak to their high school coaches, and there's things that players that love the game naturally do. When you have an off day, are you engaged in the process still? Do you come in and watch film, or do you, like to get shots up in your free time? When you talk about, what are some of your greatest sports moments, or even just most exciting things that have happened to you in your life? Do they talk about basketball, or do they talk about something else? And so there's all kinds of different ways that you can kind of get that sort of determine, are they intrinsically motivated to do this, or is it something they've just sort of always done?
Ryan Scholes from Ralph Report. We've talked a lot about how you have 10 new players coming in, and this team is going to look a lot different than the year before. What should Colorado fans expect from this team?
Oh, that's such a great question. Well, one, I just want everyone to know how excited I am about this group. We talked a little bit about the defensive prowess that we have individually. We have some players on this team that can really dial up sort of the pace that we like to play with. We always like to play fast. We love to transition. All of those things are the same. I think this year, as much as any team we've ever had, and more so on the perimeter, we have the horses in the backcourt to be able to really do that. We're going to be able to turn people over. We're going to be able to play fast and exciting in transition. It's going to be a really good brand of basketball to watch, just a little bit different. Like we've all watched Frida Foreman for 5 years, and so you knew what you were going to get, from Frida. But I think we also have a lot of talent that people will love to watch.
JR, you mentioned your collection of point guards. With Kennedy Sanders specifically, I mean, what was the challenge to her going into this offseason? Where did she need to improve, and where are you looking for her to take the biggest leap this year to take a bigger role in this team?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for Kennedy was just experience. She had an incredible high school career, and then right before she got to CU, she broke her foot, and so had to have surgery. I think within 3 days of arriving at college, she had surgery that kept her out. Pardon me? No, it was actually, I never know if it was field hockey or lacrosse, but in her high school spring season, she ended up breaking her foot right before she got here. But then I think just ended up having our doctors do the surgery. And so that first year, she basically was just rehabbing and trying to get healthy and learn. And then her second year, which was last year, she was able to learn under or with Kendall Wetta, who had been here for years. And so I think she did a great job of really just trying to soak up knowledge and understanding. And that had been the first time in over a year she'd really been on the floor. And so the biggest thing was experience, which I thought she got more and more of towards the end of the season as she got healthier. But this past spring, I think a lot of what she worked on was change of pace in the half court, a lot of three-point shooting, knowing that we just lost our all-time leading three-point shooter, off the catch, off the bounce, understanding, the different places that her shots are going to come from, and things like that. So a lot of sort of tactical things, and then also the leadership piece, learning how important her voice is and to be authentic in that. It doesn't have to be the loudest voice in the gym because it's just not natural to her, but the way that she's led and developed that confidence is really, really good for this team.
Hi, Coach Aditya Malcolm, Scope of Sports. Isa from Luxembourg.
Yeah.
Obviously, international basketball is very different from the U.S. and
Yeah.
college. How has her background impact her play on the floor this season?
Yeah, so Isa was one of two players that was not here during the summer for our training because we started end of June. Her high school, the academic portion of high school didn't finish until mid-July, and so she was unable to be here with us this summer, and so she missed a couple of months of sort of like baseline footwork, groundwork, things like that. But Isa is a very high IQ. A lot of international players are. They just have a real good high level of understanding of the game. And so that has really helped her get caught up to speed. She's long, she's athletic. Her frame is a perfect fit for our system. She's a phenomenal cutter. She's a great catch and shoot three-point shooter. And so there's some things that she has naturally in her, even though she missed most of summer. Her IQ and then just sort of her physique is allowing her to sort of catch up pretty quickly.
I just had one more about injuries, and that was something that maybe kind of derailed towards the latter half of last season. Was there any changes that you guys made conditioning-wise or anything like in your recruiting process going after those newcomers? And you mentioned the athleticism aspect of it. Was that a factor?
No, I don't think we could say that. I mean, last year was just a weird year, right? We had more injuries in one season than the previous 5 years combined. And so we have an incredible strength coach in Adam Ringler. We have an incredible trainer in Chris Miller. They work hand in hand together and with our staff. We're very mindful of like their loads and their numbers and things like that. So we're utilizing everything available to keep them healthy. Some years, honestly, everybody knock on wood, please, are just like that, but we expect that, that this year is going to be different and we're going to have everybody healthy.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
All right, thanks guys, go Buffs.
Welcome back to Colorado Media Day. I'm Corey Lopez. Desiree Wooten is with us. Des, okay, first thing we got to start with, where are you from? And this is the cool thing that everybody gets to know. It's the first time I'm getting a chance to meet you. 10 new players for the Buffs, learning how to be a Buff. Tell me where you're from, and tell me what it's been like being here this summer.
I'm from Dallas, Texas, and what it's like being in Boulder, I would say, is really different from the city, you know. So the weather out here is like real clear, dry, you know, in Texas, humid. Yes. But I mean, I like it here so far. I like my teammates, coaches. The school is very nice, so yeah. I mean, I can't speak for outside of the school. But
I know, because it's all basketball all the time, right? Eventually you'll get to know a little bit more about Boulder. So what's it been like, though, and what made you want to come be a Buff?
Like in the portal, I kind of knew what I was looking for, and it was mainly like the style of play and how the coaches see me fit in the style of play. And JR and the Towns, like, they really just pushed that belief in me, and they were really pushing for me, and I like the culture here and like the relationship, family, and stuff like that. So yeah.
See, I always forget to ask that question too. The portal, where'd you come from?
I came from North Texas.
There you go.
Yeah.
From North Texas.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So, and I'm going to have to ask all you guys that. How different is the style of play?
I would say it's actually really different, but at the same time. But like they have like different calls that you wouldn't like never hear of. But then in North Texas, it's the same thing but a different call. So that's my adjustment, you know. So yeah.
But you guys want to be fast?
Yes.
And you want to play defense. Yes. 'Cause I know that about JR. It's like defense. He's going to get on you. It's all about defense, right? And you like that.
Oh, of course, yes. I mean, good thing it was defensive All-American or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, defense is pretty much fun for me. It's not really too hard.
All right, that's good.
Yeah.
Last question from me. I just want to know, what's it been like meeting all of these new players? I mean, you knew the staff a little bit coming in. Obviously, you saw it in the portal, and you kind of chose Boulder too. But you have brand new players around you, brand new people that you've gotten to know. What's that been like?
I mean, nothing too different than what you experience every year. Like, you meet new people every year, new team almost every year. So, I mean, it's pretty fun getting to meet new personalities. You know, you never know how everybody is. Yeah. So, it's like just adjusting to them. And, you know, like, AT, you wouldn't think she talks so much, but she's funny. Like, she's funny, right? So, yeah. But it's pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, it's great to meet you. You're going to get to see an awful lot of me, and I hope I get to see a lot of you on the court, too. Okay, so thanks for talking with us.
Of course. Appreciate you, Corey.
All right. That's Desiree Wooten. We'll have more from Colorado Media Day here in just a little bit. Welcome back. Colorado Media Day continues. I'm Corey Lopez, and I didn't even recognize her. I swear to God, JoJo Nwori is here. Welcome back.
Thank you.
I want to talk to you about your summer, though. You were trying to get back here. Not the first Buff player that's happened to over the years. People that come in, international side of things like that.
but you got to see your family, like the silver lining on the whole thing. How much fun was it to get a little bit of time off from basketball and do that?
It was fun because I haven't seen my family for about 7 years. So going home was actually a blessing, and I needed that family love and just being around people that I haven't seen for a while. So it was pretty much needed for the summer.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Coach JR said, that you looked different, happier. That must be what family does. So are you ready to attack the season this year?
Oh, absolutely. I'm ready. Whatever it is, I'm here to give all I have, all I got. Yeah.
How's your health? I know you've been asked that for years and years and years, and I know coming into last year you were just recovering. You look pretty good. Are you healthy now coming in?
Yeah, I'm healthy. I'm healthy.
Yeah.
Now, praise Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm back, yeah.
Good. So have you set some goals for yourself this year?
Oh, no, I haven't. I'm just trying to go with the flow and just let it come to me. So, yeah.
So what's it been like learning and getting to know all of these new people? Once again, you came in last year, you had to meet everybody, you had to get to know everybody. You're one of just 3 total people coming back from last year's team. It's got to be fun. They're going to look to you as a leader, right?
Yeah, it's been pretty fun. I just got back, and when they recruit all of them, I was here, and I had a chance to talk to them. And even when I was back home, I was trying to ask the coaches, how is my new teammates, how are they doing, getting to know them. And even just being here for a week, so they've been pretty good. And just hanging out with them it's really pretty fun. And just watching them practicing together, it's been amazing. And they're not freshmen. they look way more than freshmen, so yeah.
See, that's what I wanted to know a little bit more. It sounds like this year's team is going to surprise some people.
Oh yeah, we're so athletic. It doesn't matter if you're young or whatever it is. We're really athletic, and I just can't wait for people to see what the team has, and we're gonna show the world what we are and who we are. Yeah.
You guys are in a different spot than you were last year then. That's got to feel good. What's it been like just kind of you getting back into basketball here? Because I'm sure it was probably, you're at home, you're probably shooting some hoops or at least trying to stay in shape. But what's it been like since you've been back just for you to kind of get back into game shape?
The first thing that we practiced, I ran. Oh God, it's different, but I'm back into it now, getting in shape a little bit more than last week. So that's pretty good, and I'm trying my possible best to actually get in shape and stay in shape for the rest of the season. So yeah.
That's good. Well, you look great. We look forward to seeing a lot of you on the court, okay?
Yes, sir. All right. Can't wait for y'all to see us play.
I know. It'll be great. Jojo Nawari, we'll come back in just a little bit with some more interviews here on Colorado Media Day. Welcome back to Colorado Media Day. I'm Corey Lopez, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this with all of these players because I know their names, but I'm going to make them say their names so you get to know them. Give me your name. Where are you from?
I'm Anna, and I'm from Arkansas.
I know, isn't that weird? I'd have to come in here. 10 new players. Anna, tell me what it's been like to be a Buff here, at least through this summer, and why you chose Colorado.
So far, it's been great. I mean, I have no complaints. JR is great. The team's great. I think we're going to be good.
So, pretty high accolades in Arkansas. I followed you. Been following you for a little while because Coach has been following and we've been following. What's the first few months been like? Is it everything you thought that it might be? I know you're going to get new stuff, or go into games, or going to do stuff, but has it been everything you thought it might be?
It has. It's been hard. It's been fun. It's been exciting. But yeah, I mean, I expected nothing less.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hard worker, you like this, you're meeting new players all the time. Can you describe to me, because I'm going to ask you this at the end of the season too, can you describe to me what it's like to be a Buff?
It's a
I mean, what's it for you right now?
right now. I mean, she's going through practice. Well, we have the Buff way. We have to be able to fight through adversity. We have to be able to stay strong, stay together, stay disciplined. So, I mean, for me, that's what it means.
I like it. That's good stuff. I just wondered if Coach would hand you, do you know the fight song yet?
Not yet. I've been learning it. We sang it the other day, or no, Kitty was singing it, and I was mouthing the words that she was saying after she sang it.
Right.
But we're learning it. We're learning it.
Okay, got to sing it after every win, so that's coming pretty soon, right? Okay.
It is.
So tell me what kind of goals maybe you have set coming in here. And again, you played pretty high level. I know in high school, club ball, stuff like that. Any expectations that you have of yourself, some goals that you've set?
Really just try and play the best basketball that I can play. That's it.
Talk about the offense. How hard is it to get to know this offense? We talked about, because you're running Princeton, you were doing all this stuff. Have you kind of figured that out?
Yeah, we in high school we kind of run like the same set. It's a 4 out, 1 in, and that's the beginning set, and then you have actions through that. So I've been doing that for 4+ years already. So for me, it's really not that difficult to catch on to what we're doing. And then after that, it's just you run the set, and then you play basketball. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I was going to say, yeah. So you already kind of know the system. Are you teaching it to the other players? A little bit. Do you feel like that you're ahead a little bit, at least coming in here?
I wouldn't say so much ahead, just a little bit more confident than others, because most of us are new. But, I mean, we're all catching on fairly quickly. So, yeah, we all ask each other questions.
See, that's good. It sounds like you guys really get along really well,
Yeah,
so
we
that's
do.
great. Last question is actually coming from Coach T. You like to play defense, right?
I do like to play defense, yes. I think defense wins games.
That's awesome. She'll be so happy to hear that. Well, thank you for talking with us.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll see you throughout the season, and have a great year.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, that's on a good. And back in a moment here for more from Colorado Media Day. Welcome back, Colorado Media Day, continuing here. I have to say, I wasn't dreading this, but I get a little antsy because Anna here has a last name that, I'm going to have to say this thing about 1,000 times this year. So I want you to say your last name and where you are from.
Yeah, so my name is Isa Hämäläinen, and I am from Finland, but I've been living in Luxembourg for 10 years. So.
That's amazing. We could talk forever and ever, and we will on the road. I want to know more about where you come from and where you played and things like that. But what's it been like to be here in Boulder with these players?
It's been amazing so far. I mean, obviously coming into a new place, it can be scary sometimes, but just knowing that having such great people around me makes it so much easier. Definitely feels like a second home to me already, even though it's been a couple months. And yeah, I'm just so excited to see like what we have in store and what we can do as a team. So
that's awesome. So is this the first time you've been in the States here with a team? Have you been playing overseas?
Yeah, this is actually my first time. Yeah, I've traveled here before, but basketball-wise, yeah, first time ever. So yeah.
What surprises you?
Let me think. I mean, honestly, just like the level of physicality in the team, that is very different from what I'm used to, and definitely also paying attention to the small details. So those are something that I've never was really that used to, and just overall, how much those things matter on the court. So that's definitely something that surprised me a little, and what I've had to pay attention to a lot, and still working on it, but. Yeah, I think it's for the better and definitely something that I have to get right. So, yeah.
Well, that's great. That's great. What do you want to see when you're here? I know good basketball. I know we get to travel. We get to go all these places. But what excites you coming over here? Because it's a different cultural experience for you, too. I mean, it's all about learning.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think the biggest thing is to see how everything is so big here. So, you know, obviously there's a lot more people than what I'm used to. Just overall, a lot of more opportunities, I think, and just like, yeah, again, like the culture is so different that I'm like just overall really excited to see, like, learn new things and just like be able to live my life in a different place than what I'm used to. So that's really exciting, and honestly, just as you said, basketball is a big part of it, but just trying to settle in and all of that, like in not basketball point of view, that's really exciting for me. Yeah. So
what are you studying?
I'm actually still undecided, so we'll see. Time will tell, but maybe something business related, communications, something of that sort. So yeah.
Okay. I have to ask this too. Your English is beautiful.
Thank you.
How long have you been speaking English? I mean, is that kind of a requirement? You've done it since you were 4 years old, kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, I only started studying English when I was 13 or 14, wow. So not that long ago. But then again, like being in Luxembourg, since I don't really speak any of the languages they speak there, so you know, French, German, Luxembourgish. Yeah. So obviously I've had to, you know, work my way around with English, and then obviously with basketball, I do speak English with all my basketball buddies. So I guess over the years, just like getting that language in, you know, as much as possible I think that has really gotten me to this point. So yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, now that I know that you speak really well, you're going to be on the radio all the time. So that's just how that's going to work. All right, Isa, I'm going to have you say your last name one more time, then I'm going to try to say it.
Perfect. Hämäläinen.
Hämäläinen.
Yes.
Isa Hämäläinen.
Yes.
All right, get used to hearing it because you're going to hear it a lot. Thank you for talking with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All
Thank
right.
you.
We'll have more from Colorado Media Day here in just a little bit. Back to Media Day we come. I don't have to ask Kennedy Sanders how to say her name because, you know, she's been around here for a little while. Wow, leader on the team, huh? Coming in here. What's this year been like? Because I know people were looking up to you last year because we had a lot of new players, but wow, for a second year in a row.
Yeah, it's been completely different. Obviously, we only have 3 returners, and JoJo just got back. But this group is really special. I mean, we're close off the court, we're close on the floor, so it's just been nice and like refreshing that like we all enjoy each other's presence. You know, we don't have any bad blood towards each other and stuff like that.
That's great. So Coach is saying the same thing. Like, this is a special group. You kind of touched on it a little bit. Is there one thing that you can, what makes it, I'll get to see it throughout the season. I mean, when I travel, but what is it about these guys? And I already talked to like a handful of players, and I'm like, wow, you guys are really smart about basketball and other stuff.
Yeah, I would just say like honestly the versatility. I was talking to some other people about it, but like obviously our posts are kind of like 4 or 5 and they stay there, but like we have so many versatile players that can do everything, play different positions. You know, everyone's just proud for each other, happy for each other, celebrate each other, and you don't always get that. So
yeah, that's true. How's studies coming in here? I remember asking you when you were a freshman, you were like, why? I mean, it's going crazy, but you're kind of settling in, doing what you want to do. How's that going through the summer and coming into at least the fall here?
Yeah, it's definitely settled down. I had 2 classes in the summer just because of like schedule and with practice time and stuff. So my schedule is actually kind of light. I have 3 in-person classes and then an online class that it's been pretty good. And I just finished my minor is business, and so I have like 8-week classes. So I just finished my first 8-week class, and now I go to an 8 a.m., which sucks. But I'm kind of a morning person, so I'm not too worried about it.
That's good.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good thing. And you see, I'm always asking you guys about your studies because people forget student athlete.
Get to do
But
both.
you guys have got proctors on the road when we go to tournaments. I mean, like you guys are always doing stuff and balancing all of this. And now you're asked to be a leader. And
Yeah.
as I know this, you're not a super loud person.
Yeah.
So you had to step up. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to talk all the time, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely do my leadership role in my own way, and I know JR's like kind of touched on that, but obviously I'm not the most vocal, I'm not the loudest in the gym, but just giving tidbits here and there, you know, encouraging my teammates, but also just like celebrating their successes. Like if I point something out and, you know, they fix it, like I want to celebrate that for them too, because obviously everyone's new.
Yeah. Is this team what you thought they might be coming in here? And the reason I say it's 10 new players, and all of a sudden you guys are like tight knit, and you haven't even played your first game yet.
Yeah, I was not expecting to be as close as we are, and even like on the court, obviously like some of the plays and stuff are like we're still learning and everything, but just like having that close relationship, I haven't really experienced that as I've been here, so it's been special.
Yeah. Well, you've had like 3 different classes coming in here, so
Yeah.
I know that's how it is.
Completely.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Healthy? Are you healthy? I mean, 3 years in here in D1 college basketball, but are you healthy?
Coming back, yes. Yeah, I've had some problems with my hip, but practicing today. So.
I do know that, but I'm glad to see that you're dressed out and you're ready to
Yes.
go.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
excited.
Well, we'll see more of you. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
All right. That's Kennedy Sanders. Back in a moment here. More from Colorado Media Day in a bit. Back here, Colorado Media Day. I'm Corey Lopez, Jade Masagayo. I don't have to ask your name either. You know, I got Issa, I got Ariana, I got all these. I'm like, oh, so what's your last name? Where are you from?
All the new introductions. I know.
What's this been like though? You got 10 new players coming in here. What's it been like getting to know them? I bet it's been fun.
Man, it's been a lot of fun. Honestly, we got great chemistry. Yeah. I mean, it kind of started off in the summer. Just started hanging out a lot, getting to know each other a lot more, and I mean, we've been inseparable ever since. They're always at the house. We're always just hanging out, always together. So it's just been really fun.
That's good.
Yeah.
Better than last year, and I don't mean like people-wise or whatever. Just does it feel like this group might be a little farther along here coming into the season?
Yeah, I definitely can see that, especially considering all the chemistry that we have. Yeah. We click more than we did last year, I would say, for sure, and so it's a great feeling.
Yeah. Little expectation on you, preseason Big 12 muckety muck. I don't know what it is, but I mean, and hey, I'd vote for you too. It's a lot of expectations. You had some coming in last year. I know it's a little bit of pressure, but you seem to kind of thrive on stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I'm not trying to read into it too much. I'm just trying to just play my game and just not really think about that. I'm just trying to play basketball for real. So yeah.
What's new this year in your game? Did you add something new over the summer? Are we going to see something new from you?
I mean, my coaches have been harping on me about being more of a leader, so I'm just trying to really focus on that, get out of my comfort zone, be more vocal, have a more vocal presence, and kind of just pave the way for this team a little bit more. So, yeah.
What's your expectation coming in here, individual and team-wise? I know you guys always have team goals, but for you, what would you like to do this year? Where would you like to take this team?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I definitely want to take this team to the tournament. I would say that. I mean, that didn't happen last year, haven't been yet, so that's really a focus on what we're trying to do for sure, and win in the tournament for sure. So that's some team-wise and individually as well. But for me, just like I said, just being more of a leader is a very big point that I'm trying to do. Just get out of my comfort zone and just kind of grow as a player. Just do more than I did last year. I feel like I've gotten better and better each year. So I'm just trying to keep that going.
You definitely have gotten better and better every year. Last thing for me, just how's class going? You're trying to get all that worked in while you're meeting all these new players and you're rolling into basketball again. How's it going?
Honestly, it's been a little bit difficult this year, I would say, for me.
Do you have a heavy load this year?
Definitely have a heavy load. My major has kind of, let that be the case. A lot more in person, a lot more labs, a lot more, just bigger assignments and all that type of stuff. So I've been working with a lot of learning specialists, my academic advisors, so they can help me a lot. And yeah, so it's been a lot, I'll be honest.
You like to challenge yourself, not only on the court, but off the court. I do know that. Every time I talk to you about your studies, you're like, oh, man. But it's a challenge for you.
For sure, definitely.
You'll get
it. Yeah, for sure. Definitely a challenge, but, I'm just trying to be successful in the end. So it's all for a greater purpose, for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Best of luck this year. We'll see a lot of you, okay?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
All right. That's Jade Masagayo. That's Colorado Media Day here.